And we are live, coming to you from the dirty South, Winston-Salem, North Carolina, bringing in a couple of my friends from the Greek North. We got Joe and not Dr. Carlos. We just have Carlos tonight.
Apparently.
The man of many names goes by none. But anyway, we have Detroit playing Minnesota tonight. We got Scooble going, probably arguably the best pitcher in baseball right now. So I didn't notice though, but Detroit on their sleeves they have Mahir, whatever that the purple. The people that bring you the purple card in the Topps series 1 and 2 and update. So I'm waiting for the 7th inning stretch when the purple comes out somehow in their uniforms. But anyway, I hope everybody's doing well tonight. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing good.
How you doing?
Going good.
Dr. Carlos.
I was going to say, we were both technically doctors and we've been demoted. We might have to re-promote ourselves. Hold on. I'll re-promote myself. If Joe's not going to be doctor exclusive, I'm going to fix this.
Well, at least I'm calling Doctor Exclusive the right doctor now.
Boom. He was Dr. Disrespect. I rather enjoyed that era. I thought it was great.
Yeah, we got Brad coming in. That PC is awesome. Or pick. Okay, pick. I didn't see the I. The pick is all. I updated the pick too. Jason did a little bit more magic to it to actually put our faces on it.
Oh, okay.
So it's in the corner right now, and to replace the national, and just having some fun. Some people have tarnished the road to the national for me, so we're gonna have fun with it from here on out. I got Carlos put his input on scooters for this one. I picked Razor scooters, and maybe you'll see my big butt on a regular scooter.
Listen, there's enough time. There's enough time. Joe, basically what I was telling Scott is there's enough time between now and then that you can go through multiple modes of transport. But right now, with 5 weeks, you can get there on the scooter.
I have 2 in mind already. We have 4. We got 4 more Sundays. So we got Sadler fan, Mr. Mackey from South Park, Worst Nightmare with that thumbnail. A collector's dream. Hello, everyone. What's up, Orlando? Jeff McMahon. Hello, everyone. Scooble is dominating the night. Yeah, and having fun. Scooble has fun, too, when he's pitching. I like that. Hodges, what's up, Brian? Gave a video I like. Hey, everyone. Yeah, so hope everybody, people got to catch my Saturday. I use that to kind of prelude a little bit of what I want to talk about or whatever's on my mind. Not a lot, but some stuff came up after the fact yesterday. Let's see here that I would like to touch on. I meant to bring it up, then we started talking. And we could talk about that a little bit right now, is the grading company. We have our boy, friend of the channel and friend of most people, is Bobbles did his last SGC reveal tonight, which is a little bit, that's a little heartbreaking. It brings some reality to what's going on in our hobby world, the change of landscape. Few months will be over, be on to the next thing if it takes that long. Eddie's Cardboard, what's up, man? Carlos Influence is spreading. First nearly 3 hour for collectors stream and then a 40-minute Saturday chat from Scott.
My influence grows, Joe. It's one step at a time. Slowly, I'm teaching them the ways.
Me and my dad go 40 minutes, but it's me and my dad get for tomorrow. There's a little some stuff in there that and I might touch on it again tonight. Some stuff I didn't really like in the Major League Baseball this past week. People want to be stupid, but so it looks like SGC overall might be slowing down, and this is just one way to do it. Is that Riley Green just went homer? The Tigers are just running away with that division. Was that Canadian South division there? Tigers are in. White Sox.
Back in the day, it used to be the Jays actually used to be in a division with the Tigers. Like one of the
Yeah,
last times in the 80s,
yeah.
they had one good team that was derailed because the Tigers were in that division and they managed to beat them out.
But it just looks like, and of course we can get into this, Carlos and Joe, but it just seems like they're starting to blend it in slowly, getting people used to that are SGC diehards. What's coming down the pike? What is your thought on that? I know you've covered it on yours probably at depth, but what is you're in the business world, so what is your thought on what they're doing? Is anything surprising, anything crazy that you just thought, or is it crazy that it took this long?
I think more the latter. Like, look, I said it before. I'll put it this way. Maybe I'll rephrase it so that it maybe sounds a little different. If it was me, I would be doing the exact same thing, but honestly, I would have been a lot more dramatic about it. And the thing is, you can do it in a way that still gets the job done. The whole SGC thing. I understand that people get very passionate about it, but the reality is, you don't have to do a lot to accomplish to have your cake and eat it too. I
Right.
still truly believe that you can't eliminate SGC entirely. Well, the truth is you can. Of course you can. But I think that isn't going to make you any more money. It's not really going to save you any money. So in other words, you bought something and then didn't make any money and don't really save any money. You get the worst of both worlds. Maybe you get a couple more graders, but who cares? The simpler way is to keep the illusion. It's I used a little graphic. I don't know if you guys remember the Simpsons episode with Duff, where Homer
Mm-hmm.
went to the Duff factory, and it
Mm-hmm.
was three flavors of Duff, but they were all coming from the same funnel.
Right.
That's basically what you do. The funnel is the same, but it's like PSA and SGC would be two different brands. The people that want to use the PSA hit the checkbox. The people who want to use SGC hit the checkbox. But it's going in the same door and it's coming out the same door. And you, as the person on the other side, don't necessarily know how you fall in between. The question is, and Dan's Vintage Baseball, when we were on the live, he was kind of saying, the diehards will revolt if the grading doesn't stay similar to it. It's like, well, they are hiring SGC graders, so I could literally have them grade those cards, but I'm also having them grade PSA. Again, if they're in the same building,
Yeah.
can you tell the difference? I can.
You don't even know who they don't. You don't know the names or identities
Exactly.
of graders
So
now.
what I'm getting at is that I understand his sentiment, but I think you're overcomplicating this. You could have them in the same building, have the cards walk in the front door, have the cards go back out the front door, use the same shipping department, use the same intake department, use the same. The only thing you changed is you have one machine that is configured to hold that SGC slab with the tuxedo, shut it, give you the SGC slab with the tuxedo, and you're done. But for that, you don't need bulk submitters.
Right.
You just don't. So like, I would much rather get $18 from you directly. I'll just charge you $18 or whatever it is. I don't know what the current rate is for them, but whatever that rate is, I'd rather
20.
just, okay, so let's call it $20 then. So, okay, great. So Scott, you send me $20 per card. I will send it back to you in a tuxedo. Here you go.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
it.
sitting here. I'm sorry. I'm looking for something else I wanted to touch on tonight, but I could just do it. Somebody knows the names. It was in our group chat, and I really wanted to bring it up tonight. But yeah, I just think that I am surprised it's taking this long, that they let people have their SGC this long and make it feel like it's still SGC.
I didn't think it was SGC. The second they bought it, it wasn't SGC. The second they bought it, it was PSA, PSA Black.
Right. And let's be real. It probably we didn't hear much from Peter. They had a little bit of
Well,
showing.
Bobbles would let him out of the closet once
That's
in a while. That'd be
right.
great.
They were literally at Philly next door to each other on the floor.
Yeah.
Almost sharing a table together.
Yeah, they basically did a combined booth kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, you could just see what was happening. And and then when it came out, oh, they're not going to be at the National. Well, that tells you right there everything you need to know. That they're really no longer in existence, and like you're saying, it's PSA with a black border. You call it whatever you want. They're literally using the same pricing. I wouldn't be surprised if the 9.5 goes away. That's been a thorn in PSA side anyway. So
I actually think it would be simple for them to leave it. Like I said, you want to leave the illusion of the differentiator.
That's true.
That's why I say like there is. Let me give you an analogy that'll help as well, like a real analogy that I lived. I've been in banking for many years, and
Right.
Joe, I think you're familiar with this one. There are different banks that exist, but then they also own subsidiaries that are like the discount brand, the online only bank. So, for example, Scotia Bank is one of them. They own a company. They bought a bank called Tangerine. Tangerine is a real bank. You've got basically your debit cards. You can go to ATMs. But guess which ATMs you go to? You can go to Tangerine ATMs. They do exist, but you can go to the Scotia ATM, put the card in, and it works. It is all part of that. They're two separate systems. They're kept separate, but in a lot of cases, part of the real estate, you'll lease multiple floors in a building. One floor will be Scotia, one floor will be Tangerine. They're in the same building. But what happens is they don't have branches. For the most part, they don't bother to have them. Why wouldn't they have branches, Scott? Well, because that adds additional cost, and you
Right.
don't need it. The Tangerine, so what they do is they say, oh, we're not going to charge you a monthly fee on your checking account. That's how you do it. You offer something that is a little bit different. Why would they do that? Market share.
Right.
Just by having something, but we own both. So
Right.
it doesn't matter whether you're using this one
The
or this one,
illusion.
we're still getting your money. But
Right.
Scott, I am offering it to you free checking accounts without the fee. It sounds better, it feels better, right? But by doing it that way, I'm giving you two options, but in reality, you're still giving me the money either way.
Well, that's down here we have thousands of grocery stores, but they're owned by 6 different groups.
Yeah, exactly.
So
It's the illusion, Scott. I need to
Right.
give you the illusion,
right, and also they can make a high end, medium, and low end to fit
which
any
is the
neighborhood.
right thing to do.
Right.
SGC could be the bulk avail by bulk. I mean, you will get your card for $20, $20, and that's it. But for that, we don't need bulk submitters. We don't need to set them up at the national. Maybe you take them to a couple of shows, but you don't need it at most of them. You
Right.
basically cut it to the bare minimum that you need. And if you want to get the card submitted, you want your tux, $20, Scott.
Yeah. Let's catch up on some, and we'll get to you, Joe.
All right.
Are they integrating people from SGC to PSA? Are they trying to bring PSA up to SGC protocols? I think, let's be real. You can call it collectors or whatever. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was when they bought PSA, it was PSA. Then they changed their name Collectors because they started buying other stuff. The people that bought PSA are buying other stuff to support PSA. Let Collectors, you call it whatever they want. PSA is their flagship. That is their baby. So they're going to do what it takes to do that. So SGC protocols, I don't know. Those people that work at SGC are now working for Collectors or probably PSA protocols. Let's see. It'd be great if all of them are consistent, but let's be honest, Battery. We can sit here and talk trash. None of them are consistent. They all have their issues. Now, that thing that I saw this past week with the folded check, I'd like to have more information on that.
I'll put in a couple of questions, but just so you know, you won't get answers. I'll ask a few folks.
Do you know anything about that?
I don't know anything about the PSA DNA directly, but I'll pose a few questions to a few people I do know. I'll be like, what do you got for this one? What did you?
Yeah, that is
like all you have to do is look at the damn thing and see that you don't need to fold it.
that they folded that. Like, was there somebody like get my nephew out of mail and get to do this one? I don't understand. That one really I got lost on that one. That's when Nat told Leighton the brand is not going away. He didn't say anything about SGC, the company. Yeah, I mean, he could he can say whatever he wants to John, but at the end of the day, they run it. And if tomorrow they decide SGC sign's coming down, it's coming down. So the rest of us just have to move on. It took a few months before they started degrading SGC. Hotels are brilliant about marketing brands, 2 different tiers of customers. That's true.
Yeah.
What's up, James? Haven't seen you in a while, brother. Nice to see you back. There could be a revolt if they force SGC folks to join the Collectors Club. I don't think they're going to force them to do anything. And
I don't think you need to. The scenario I gave you gave you a way that you don't have to. Just let them submit their card for the $20, and I gave you the 2 different levels. Just let them submit the card for the $20. Just encapsulate it in the tux and be done with it.
And like I said yesterday, where did they gonna do? Go to Tag? Go somewhere else? You have Beckett.
I can only use so many coasters, Scott.
Right, and I mean and I'll get to more of that in a minute. I'm using this to set up a video that I watched yesterday that my brother Fabian sent to us on our group chat, and I cannot find it, and it was damn good, but on really being bad, really good at really being bad at what people are thinking.
Okay.
The check got folded and PSA tried to cash it.
Happens to me all the time.
Get Carlos as an advisor. Just as long as they wait until August 5th or so. You know what's up, Paul? Must have some cards in. I have cards in.
No, he has a pizza bet with Neo. It basically, if Nat doesn't collapse SGC before the Nationals over, then Paul gets pizza. That's all he cares about. This isn't about your SGC. He doesn't give a crap. It's about keep it there long enough so he can get free pizza.
I got you. Good luck, Paul. Good luck.
Yep.
Uncle Vinny in the house. What's up? What's up, Scott and my Canadian brethren? Nice to hear from you, Vinny. Everyday card collector Jason. Hello, everyone. What is going on? Some new names here. Mike Good. Is Carlos on Scott's show, or did Carlos stay up all night and Big Scott's on Carlos Friday night show?
Never discount that possibility.
That could be a possibility. Yeah, because it just seems more and more. And I'm going to bring this up now. So, East Coast, Connecticut cards. God,
Okay.
Mike Fabian, which most people that have been around know who Mike is. Newer people, he took time off for personal reasons. He's back in the YouTube world last couple years, and he stays with all of us. Stay together at the Airbnb. Joe stayed with us last year. Joe, did you have any? I'm sorry. What do you have anything to add on grading? Because you do mostly raw vintage hockey. I don't mean to exclude you, but
I do both.
Okay,
but my take is I just can't see them turning.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing. That reminds me of Blues Brothers. We play both country and western. Go ahead. Go ahead. When you say both, what do you mean? Raw and not that both you do modern and vintage?
Yeah, but no, I buy graded as well.
Okay. Yeah, I know that. But okay, go ahead with your thoughts. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I was going to say that I just can't see them turning SGC into a discount brand. Like, why would they want to increase the volume of SGC slabs out there and having all these people with their, low cost, like modern cards, which are flooding the market?
Well, do you think $20 though? Do you think $20 though qualify? I didn't say lower the price. I, as a matter of fact, I suggested bumping a couple of bucks. If it's $20 right now, that's fine. But I'm saying at $20, I think that's enough of a threshold. We're not getting. I don't know, Scott. You tell me. If SGC is $20 flat, are you sending them 200 cards?
No.
Well, it doesn't. Regardless of who's grading, even if it's the real SGC graders, the OG graders, are you sending 200 cards if it's $20 a card? No. And so I don't think it's going to change the volume. In reality, I think SGC volume will come down, but I think there's a number where it's still profitable. And they've reduced the expenses. So it won't be a discount brand, but it'll be discount compared to the PSA cost.
See, I don't even think their time is going to come down. I think they're blending them all together. It's going to be whatever it takes in there. And because they're getting people used to the longer wait times already.
Yeah. So James is saying it's 15.
As of right now. But when
I say make it $20. Make it $20. Increase it $5.
Whatever PSA's bulk is for signing up for the collectors thing, that is what the SGC new bulk is. It's like $23.
Yeah, I would just make it 20 flat. That's a nice round number, still right in that neighborhood, and it won't, Joe, to your point, it won't cause a flood. I think if you bump it up a couple of bucks, it'll still be cheaper than PSA's number, so that still gives you the differentiator and the tux, but then you actually don't get the flood.
Yeah,
I just don't see, like, why would they want to direct people to SGC that want to send their cards to PSA?
They don't. They just want to keep the SGC people they have.
Yeah, so that way.
Yes, I think the price is going to be the same between the two brands, and you might see like discounts for like specials and things like that, but I think they'll basically be the same price. Like
I
they
think
want to complement each other. They don't want to compete with each other.
Yeah, they're going to want to keep it. They just want to keep the name around for the SGC diehards.
Yeah.
To stick around, to still get their money every month.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, I think they're going to get it in the long run anyway, because the people that are going to grade are going to grade. Grading, people don't just stop grading because a name of a company goes somewhere. I think they'll just either Beckett's going to jump back in if they know what they're doing, so we know that's not going to happen. And then
Beckett.
CGC has just failed at every turn at this business. By hiring people that have been in the business, you would have thought they would have came in much more prepared, better ready for this. And here they have a time to shine, and I'm going to just touch on a personal thing. So I sent in a bulk 61 card non-sport. So I will not take it to my next card show because you can only have sports cards at a sports card show. But I won't take those there. The people then to know, but 61 cards. When I sent them in, the waiting. Listen to this, Joe. The waiting was 30 days, business days. While it was there, they extended it to 40 days. So what do you think my card should have fell into? I'm still waiting. And I turned them date were received on 5/1/25. They just today turned into the grading portion of their wait there in solitude confinement. And so it is going to be more than 60 days. If you subtract the 16 days of weekends, that's like 44 days as of Monday, tomorrow. So we're already past the 40, much less the 30 that was there so CGC is just totally fumbling every chance. And they have, to me, the best product out there as of right now. It took them 3 tries at the flip, but they got it right. But they lost so much business because of what they did at the beginning, changing the flip, doing this, doing that, changing how they're grading. It's crazy to me. Don't think they want to kill a couple of decades of goodwill with SGC slabs. The anti-PSA guys won't forgive that. PSA, and let me sit here. So the video that Fabian sent out was a well-known purchaser card guy up in their area, but he was on a video on a trade night. This older teenage young adult and his dad was trying to have cards. The person had notes with prices on them, and this dude was talking 100 miles a minute. He made Carlos sound like Carlos talks in slow motion.
I've been slowing down for y'all this whole time. You need me to go faster for you? Good Lord.
But so this guy already sounded like a used car salesman when he was talking. Was going through all these PSA slabs and was offering, 70% per slab what the cost was. Didn't sound like it was too big of prices. And then all of a sudden he hit an SGC 10. And he took that card and showed it to him and said, this SGC 10 might as well be a raw card to me. SGC means nothing in our world. You got to have PSA. So we got this newer group that's already coming in, and we want to know why PSA has took over the world. There you go. This whole new group that came in during the COVID era, they all want PSA. They're already set for PSA. They've already been brainwashed that PSA is the only, and everybody else might as well be tag. So I think when you're talking about why is PSA making it a second tier, PSA is not. The people in the sales world, the capitalism, the people in the open market are making it a second tier. And just talk to Bobbles how long you have to, the people that sell SGC on eBay has to be so patient. And believe me, I post SGC 10s of some nice quality cards. And as soon as they hit, all my friends can talk to you, Mike, all of them. If you have SGC, they're going to start asking for pennies on the dollar. I mean, you could post it for 500, they're going to ask for 50 because they think it's a joke. SGCs, when SGC is probably a 10 times better grading company. Well, in the past, I don't even want to try to say your name. SGC has failed as a grading company because they have made no inroads in modern or TCG. They've become a one-trick pony. Vintage, if PSA ends them, where will vintage collectors go? Not Beckett or CGC. See, and here, this is another trope, another thing. TCG, that's fine. They're not great in the TCG world, but they're great in modern. They're just fine with modern cards. You go to shows, there's modern cards out there. Not as much as PSA, but there's modern cards. I have a ton of modern SGC of all sports in my collection. But then again, I have all kinds of graded stuff in my collection. Do either one of y'all feel that way, that SGC only does vintage? I think that's an old 20 years ago thing, but I think that's definitely changed, especially with Peter running at the helm. What do y'all think on that?
It's increased, but it's like I've got the GemRate data actually in front of me, so I wanted to
Okay.
rather
Yeah,
than guess, I can quote it here. So if we take, they actually have one of the break. If you actually go to the website, they got more information. They actually break it down by a decade. So if you want to actually see it, it's literally broken down. So SGC has improved. So under the sports category in the 2020s is 53.3% of the cards they've got in May 2025. We're using 1 month as an example. 4.5% in the 2010s, 2.5 in the 2020s, 5.7 in the 1990s. 1990s is a spot that has had a little bit of a boost, but not much in SGC. 80s, 9.7. Then when you get to the 70s, 7.5, 60s, 6.7, and 50s and earlier is 10%, 10.1. So if you go from the 70s and earlier, that's about 25%, give or take. Mm-hmm. So it's still about 1 in 4 cards, though. The point is that in ratio, that's still a very high percentage. It's still relying on, and if I add 80s, we almost add another 10% to it. So we're talking about a third or a little over a third is 80s and older, which is still a very high percentage. And right now, PSA last month, they did over 1 million in TCG alone.
Right.
Which is a massive, so it tells you how big TCG is. And obviously SGC, TCG is negligible. They barely have anything going on in TCG.
Right. Yeah, they missed the boat on that when it started. And I think
they tried to do specials. The Pokemon kids just don't like the Tux. It just doesn't work
the
for
Tux
them.
is not for, I am not a big Tux fan. You know what I liked about the Tux? It was cheap. Sure. And it had respect. And it had some respect on it. It had more respect than other ones. And when you got tired of PSA, you had an option. Then that option is kind of taken away from us right now. So, I do CGC non-sport.
Yeah. What's funny is that's actually where they excel. The irony of what you talked about for the sport, for all the issues they're having in sports cards, they had almost 400,000 TCG and non-sports, speaking of CGC.
Yeah.
Up 146% year over year. Like they're killing it on the non-sport and TCG. They're doing great.
And the thing is when they changed their flip from the non-sport had a blue flip. And then when they went to everybody having the same flip, my goodness, I go into comic book stores and stuff, and people were irate that they changed their flip. The same thing we were bitching about is what they were bitching about. But still, they've
embraced it now, though. I'm saying up 146% year over year, so now they're okay with it.
And I'm saying CGC, they're plastic. I'm sorry, CGC makes PSA look like a Dollar General plastic. It really does. I think when you compare it to products, it is night and day. It is not even the same close. And I just think it's a much better product. And I think they had to lighten up on their grading because they were killing themselves by grading too harsh at the beginning. Let's see. But I like the question, and it made us look up data. Thank you for that. CHRSism. Chris, put a vowel in there, Jesus Christ. John, in vintage, if it's not higher grade registry target or a card on the high speed flipping radar, SGC and PSA are pretty close to 1-to-1. James, keep them raw. I don't need a grade in my vintage. Yeah, I'm with you. James Gillum, or like Mangini's Mag Pros. Yeah. Them Mag Pros are so expensive. I can't do both. I got to choose which way I want to go. What do y'all think about those Mag Pros?
I think they're cool. I just wouldn't necessarily. I think they're a neat idea. I'm just not going to pay a premium over what a one touch is, just to have a label. But it's a cool idea. I think.
Yeah, that's kind of the point I was thinking, but you articulated it so well.
That's why I'm a doctor.
Joe? Have you seen them? And what is your thought on this?
I've seen them. I don't own any, and unless I can come up with some kind of good flip to put it in myself, I wouldn't. Don't see myself buying them. I'd rather have just a one touch.
Yeah, I'm a one touch guy when it comes to auto MIMS. I never saw where grading autos was the thing. I'm still kind of old school with that. I don't understand autos being more expensive on different cards and products. I remember the days where pretty much an auto was an auto because you were buying it for the autograph of a player. So that's kind of when my old man get off my lawn type of stuff comes in. But anyway, I digress.
And the auto can fade too. So that
yes.
The grade doesn't mean anything at that point.
Right. And I mean, when they start grading the card, are you buying the card because it's a 10? Or are you buying it because you want the autograph? Are you buying it because it's gold, or are you buying it because you want the autograph? That's what kind of loses me in the autograph world. And I think most people that collect autographs would, and I mean, we got some autograph collectors here. I mean, when you're looking for autographs, are you really looking for the one of one auto? Or is that a big thing in our world? I'm sure it is to some, but I mean, I don't know. For me, the same DNA touched every card, and that's kind of where I'm at with that. So let's see. When I began collecting again, circa 2016, all the experts on YouTube said you send modern to Beckett and vintage to PSA. I know when I started getting into grading, it was right when Beckett was the Bowman first cards was big with Beckett. They kind of won that over. Eddie Cardboard Chaos. For me, it's all about the look and not wanting to wait 8 months to life to get my cards back. The Mag Pros are better than PSA. Yeah, I do. But I have 15 cards right now at PSA. I've always, because I love the registry part of it, and I have a ton of Gary Carter PSA cards that I want to continue working on. Welcome to Chicago, Carlos. Glad you finally came around on the show.
I'm not in that thumbnail. Don't look at me.
Don't worry. He'll be in probably one coming up.
No, I won't. Oh, the thumbnail, you mean? Maybe the thumbnail, but not but Chicago. Dom, I will be in Chicago. Joe, this is what we do. So, Dom, yeah, I will be in Chicago. What you got to do, though, is you got to go right to the end of the convention center, take a left, go all the way down, past 3 pizza joints, take another left, and then go all the way, find a big screen, and then I'll be on the YouTube. That's where you find me. Make sure you walk all the way down first. Get your steps in. It's important.
Yeah, so that video of that guy telling that young, and first off, he was kind of ripping him off and giving him prices. And then, I understand that you're a reseller, but we're all resellers at a certain point. And I hate that. If I come up to you, and I know if I'm coming up to a dealer at a dealer table and I got buying cards or whatever, I'm going to get lucky to get 70% of what I'm asking for. But if I'm sitting there talking to Joe Schmo in the trading room and he's going to tell me he's only going to give me 70%, well, just kick bricks. I'm because at this point I'm the reseller and you're the buyer, right? Am I wrong of thinking this way? I mean, it's all on who wants to say they're the buyer and who's the seller, right? The reseller at this point. And to me, looking up comps and you're sitting here buying stuff at 70% off, to me, you just reset the comp, right? At 70% of what it was before. That's what we do, right? We look up to see what the last sale was for. And if the last sale was 70% of the sale before, then you just reset what the comp is. Is that thinking too much into that?
I do think you're thinking too much into it. But that said, I don't think you're necessarily wrong. I think what it comes down to, the way I kind of explain comps whenever somebody asks me, it's like it's a data point. It's useful. It is
Right.
something. It gives us an anchor. As
Yes.
opposed to us taking a $1 card and you saying it's worth $150,000 and me saying you should pay me to take it. The truth is somewhere in the middle of our two extremes. So the comp gives you a starting point to say, okay, we can disagree with the comp, but at least now we have something to start off with. You're saying it's too high, I'm saying it's too low, or vice versa, or whatever. Then we figure it out from there. But what happens is a lot of people don't take into account. They'll look something up and be like, okay, it's sold for this, and I go, cool. If it's a card where there's 1,000 of them, then that's relevant. Maybe that means something. But if it's a one of one or a very low numbered thing, and okay, it's sold for that, but there's none left on eBay. There's none on ComC. You can't buy it anywhere else. It's sitting on my table, and you want to buy it from me. Well, now you have to come to where my price is. We have to find some kind of a number in there because, yeah, I don't care what it sold for last time. If you wanted to buy it at that price, you need a time machine. Go to the time machine and go back to the time when you could buy it at that price because it's not going to work.
Brad, I done found two of Brad's triggers: TCG and comps.
Listen, Brad, I'm going to need a comp on your comp take because otherwise I feel like your take is far below comps.
On your Pokemons.
Oh, on everything. On all the things. One Piece, Scott. One Piece.
Yeah, One Piece. Yeah, the
Let's
One
go.
Pieces.
Let's go.
I only collect 2 pieces. But yeah, so while we're talking about TCG, Clemente Collector, right? He does a show where he talks about ask a question. It's an okay show. It's got it brings up great subjects.
I think it was actually very clever. I think they record. I would bet you you should probably ask him. I bet you he recorded the series of questions one after another. It's actually a brilliant idea to do a series.
And just
I
load
bet
them
he
up.
gave him a list of questions. Yeah, exactly. You just record answer question 1 through 5 or 1 through 6,
Yeah,
and then you
probably.
got 6 episodes. That's brilliant.
Yeah,
It's actually
probably
very efficient.
Yeah, and that's bravo for him. I give him a golf clap for that one. If that's what he did, that's awesome.
We've been very lazy with a lot of our content for the most part. I appreciate that someone at least came up with a slightly different format that we haven't already beaten into the ground. So I actually like that he did try something a little different.
Yeah, and this has come up in their world, their vintage world, especially their vintage. You don't hear too many just people that collect cards. Because for me, I also collect non-sport because I really think a lot of people, when they say Pokemon, it's a term used for all non-sport. I think it's the Kleenex, the Coke, whatever.
Also because they are the dominant player. Like really, there are a lot of it is Pokemon right now, very heavily.
Right. But non-sport has been at card shows since the first card show.
Yeah.
But now Pokemon is so relevant. And here's this is something that I brought up today, talking to my dad. My dad was trying to figure out why it even matters to these. He's like, if you don't want Pokemon, you just go to the next table that doesn't have Pokemon. I don't know what the issue is. My dad is he thinks of things in a very easy way. But so my question is they got the tables because they couldn't sell enough tables to the guys that had sports cards. So these people got the extra tables and started selling Pokemon. Pokemon did well. So now they have the tables.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason. You have to sit there and look, and it's, capitalism 101. It's, and my whole thing has always been the same people gripe about there's not enough kids in the hobby. We're worried about the kids. There's plenty of kids. Believe me, I like to smack half of them at shows. But I don't, though. I don't. Don't call it
Not very man of peace of you. Not very man of peace at all.
I just walk away. I'm tired of that and big ass strollers. But it's a gateway into the hobby of any card hobby, right? Get them excited about a card. It doesn't matter what's on the card. And most of these kids will get into sports, and if the ones that do, they already are used to cards. They're used to going to shows. These kids are already talking to vendors. I've talked about a vendor before. They won't even talk to the parents. If the kid wants the card, they make the kid talk to the card, and they give the kids these outstanding prices because they want to get the kids involved. That was a lot to say. But my whole thing is, like, the kids are there. And then once they get into a sport, they just walk to the next table. They know the process, or how y'all say it, process. So it's like, it's already there. It's a gateway into something that we want them to have a gateway into. Does that make sense? What do you think, Joe?
Can I take Brad's side for a minute?
Yeah, you can. I don't fault anybody for being wrong. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, my beef with it is more of with the promoters than the dealers or the customers. It's when they, like, I've seen shows here where they call it a sports card and a Pokemon show or TCG show, and you walk in and there's one table of sports cards, and they're charging admission, and, like, I'm not going to pay $10 to go to one table. That's my beef with it, and I can see the people in TCG having the same issue if they bill it as 50/50s on the billboard there, and they walk in, there's like one or two tables of what you're looking for, and you're charging like full pop to get in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Scott had to go to the washroom or something, but
like he's right now he's thinking about how he's going to report your obvious Pokemon slander, because after the Pokemans people come to get you.
I had to get him.
Scott doesn't want to be a party to this.
That's Scott. I don't know if you heard what I was saying, but that's my.
I heard you. I went through my my baubles where I keep Peter room and got me a water.
Like, if the dealers have like a Pokemon display case, as they would like each sport at their table, and every dealer had that wouldn't bother me. It's just I walk into a show, it's 90% Pokemon or TCG, and they call it a sports card show. Then to me that's not a sports card show. Brad might be the only one that has my back on this, but.
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up, because Brad brought that up before when he was on here a couple weeks ago. And, like I said, everybody's right to their opinion, even though they're wrong. But I think when they say sports card show, it's a generic term now. It's a card show. And
they call it a trading card show then. Like,
yes, and I agree with you. But I think we're so in tune to saying sports card shows, or that title for that. Could you imagine the Philly sports card show spectacular event that's at whatever that's been around since the 70s changed the name? Like, some of these people,
the Cap Anson Invitational.
Yeah, the Cap Anson Invitational.
That'd be amazing.
Almost bought him that shirt yesterday. Here's a Cap. I almost bought him a Cap Anson shirt yesterday. It came that close. He almost had one, and we were to bet something, so he would have to wear it or something for some reason. But anyway, the whole, so I think that we have to look at it as a generic term when you say that. I agree 100%. It'd be more in tune by saying just trading card or cards or whatever. all cards, including TC. List them. What does it take? A couple more dollars in font, whatever, to get the message out.
I was actually looking, Scott, since you brought it up. I was looking. There's a show here that runs out in Mississauga about every month or so, give or take, and they've slowly been growing it. It's been building up a little bit. The next one they're going to run in July, so it's coming up here. They call it the Sports Collectibles and TCG Trade Show. That's what they're calling it. So it's very clearly defined right there. They're saying sports collectibles, sports cards, collectibles, whatever, and TCG. So they've been very clear that the TCG is right there, the sports collectibles is right there, and they are going to do about 300 tables. So they got Santino Morella is going to be signing autographs on there.
Oh shit!
Yeah, they're trying to get mixed. They're trying to get a little bit of everything for everybody. Plus, they got the anime stuff for that as well, and some video
he
game
broke
stuff.
his neck when he was in WWE. I did not know that.
Heard something like that. Yeah. So so that's why I was double checking. It looks like they have had actually TCG specific shows as well. These promoters have done that. But in this case, there's sports collectibles and TCG. I will report my findings. I think I shall pop down.
Well, see, down here in the South, we know if what promoter is promoting what. Mm-hmm. So if it's POW Promotions, which is a new promotion, younger guys do it, it's going to be at least 50-50, if not 60-40, leaning Pokemon or non-sport. We have Inside Pitch, which is more sports heavy. And then we have another one that's going to be 50-50 toys and cards. And that can be kind of what Joe, you don't know. See, my problem is still you can walk into that card show and it can say sports cards on the front, but it could be one or two tables of 300 that's only got the sports cards. You're right.
Yeah, then it's not a sports card show. Like it's a TCG show with sports cards. You can put that on the headline. And another little beef I have with
what grinds Joe's gears. Go on.
Yeah, it is. I don't know if you guys have it down there, but it's like there's a show at like every little city up here, and now everyone's a con or an expo. They have with these grandiose titles. And I understand you want to get people to come in, but you go there and there's like 10, 20 tables. Like that's not a con or a fan expo. You know what I mean? That's another beef I have with these shows now. And there are all these new promoters that are doing it.
Right. And let's be honest, when a new promotion like we have here, they've only been around for 2 years, but they're very successful. But why? Because they were the first ones to really have non-sport. They put it in the headline. I mean, Pokemon is the big picture on the pamphlet. It's not the 52 manual. Sorry, it's just that's what it is. And so what you're getting into when you go to that free admission with every $10 ticket. Yeah, I think I agree. I wish somehow they could be a little bit more transparent, so that way, as you go in there, you know what you're kind of getting into. But like I said, around here, it was trial and error. You had to learn and word of mouth who does what, and they're pretty good at describing here what it's going to be, and it's even different with that POW because they do one show in Burlington, which is 60%. TCG, and then they do a show in Greensboro or Winston-Salem, and it's 60-40 the other way. It's just on where the location is, and you have to be in the know to kind of know what's going on. And that sucks because not somebody sees a pamphlet of a card show and they just want to go, and then they show up and it's not what they're expecting. Then it puts a bad taste in their mouth for future shows, and they don't know that it's 3, 4, 5 different promotions crisscrossing. We have 4 big promotions now down here, and if you don't know which one does what, then you could have as Canada shows mostly hockey. James.
Not anymore. They're mostly TCG.
Wherever Joe goes, it's mostly CCG. There is still I'll say like you think Expo, it's still going to be majority yes, but the percentages have skewed over the years. It's gotten to be a little bit more to even, because there's some dealers who, not even the TCG ones, there's some dealers who actually specialize in like basketball. They
Mhm.
specifically collect basketball, so their entire showcase will be basketball. Or some of them, there's literally a Blue Jay. There's one dealer at the expo who's been there for many years. He's called a Blue Jay specialist. Guess how many hockey cards he's got on his table, Scott?
2.
I be that you're taking the over. So the thing is, he's very specific on one thing, but he's got all kinds of Jay stuff. It's not just cards. He's got bobbleheads and different figurines and all kinds of stuff. But that's all he focuses on that niche. There are other ones who do a lot of this, but hockey will still dominate, especially at the big show. This one that I'm talking about, the one that they've got, that's the sports memorabilia and TCG show, it will probably be close to that 50-50. It might even skew a little more Pokemon because a lot of dealers, and we'll also take into account, even if a dealer has sports cards, they may also have Pokemon on another
Right.
showcase. So do we count that as a sports card dealer, or do we count that as a TCG dealer, or do we count as a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B?
Well, I could tell you this as well here when it comes to in this area, people I saw 2 or 3 years ago doing sports are now doing Pokemon.
Yeah.
Because
Where the money
that
is.
flip, the I think the return, the flipping is a little bit easier. If you can
I'm here
have,
for it, Scott. I'm ready. Let's go.
yeah,
She's string them on. Let's make this happen.
all the Joe Carter you can handle, right?
And if you're a real OG, that's the OG G Sugama.
Yeah,
Wally weightlifter. That's the dude right there. Cheese.
I own a 2 or 3 Pokemon cards because there was a pack I think in a VIP National last year,
Could be.
and I think I got a pack in one of my video game subscription boxes. So
Yeah.
that's the
That
only,
one came by accident because it became a running joke when I did the
Right.
when I was doing the thing with AMG, because that's actually the 1000th Pokemon they ever came up with. And literally I looked at it, I go, that's the cheese string guy. And people were like looking at. Eventually, people started making memes, putting them side by. But then one of the viewers actually sent me this. And Cheese
Right.
Strings did actually make a card. It was Wally Weightlifter, and I was like, "Here you go. It's the OG Cheese String. This is the real OG."
yeah.
But if you put them side by side, like, I'm sorry, that's the Cheese String guy. He's got a day job. He's a Pokemon part time, and then he's the Cheese
Well,
String.
it's
guy.
either that or he's the, during the week he's the blow up outside of a car dealership.
I'm just saying, if you put the two beside each other, like, you can't unsee it. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't think there should be, unless it's a 100% sports card show, which I'm fine with. If somebody goes, we're having a 100% sports card show, go for it. I just think you're shooting yourself in the foot by not filling up all the tables and letting the non-sport guys in. And, I don't see where the problem is other than the fact, Joe, what you said. If you go in and there's one table and they're promoting it as a shared thing, yeah, I can see where that could be an issue. But is that an outlier or is that every show? I don't know.
It's every new promoter show.
Promoter.
The smaller show, if it's like in a community center or something like that, like Carlos said, this thing, like, the expo is not going to be like that, and like the Hamilton show is well-established show. That's not going to be like there's plenty of TCG there, but it's not like these new promoters where it's like all TCG and they have sports cards at the top of the banner when you walk in when they're collecting your money.
I do have an issue with new promoters having shows and collecting. I do. There was one. Powell did a show at a elementary school, and when they first started, and they were taking $10 a person. I was like, man, that's kind of ballsy. But I wanted to go to the show. I didn't know it was $10 till I got there. I feel like you're a new promotion. You better get your money from the people at the tables and not people at the door. You want the people in the door to come in no matter what. So when they do come in and they feel like it's not what they're seeing, not only are they upset because they come in and it's 90% Pokemon, but they're also upset because they paid $10 to come in at 90% Pokemon, and they came in. So I feel like if you're a new promoter, you shouldn't be charging at the door anyway. Or if you do, it should be $1, $2, very minimal fee. $10 is a decent card. I can get a decent card with $10. So.
I think to be honest, like just to play devil's advocate here a little bit, I think if you're a new promoter, you're a little bit between a rock and a hard place because you don't have any track record of drawing a crowd. So you say charge the vendors. Okay, but if I'm a vendor, why would I pay you when it's a show that has never existed before?
Well,
you can't guarantee me you can get anybody in the door. I'm not paying you more than $50 or $20 or whatever.
Yeah, and I agree. And that's when you have it at a venue that you can basically, they're giving it to you. They're okay. It's the Legion Hall where they'll rent it out to you for $100 on a Saturday from 9 to 3. They're not doing anything with it anyway. So that's how you got to get started. But a lot of these now have hopes and dreams and pie in the sky hopes, where they want to come in and be the next big show. And the reality is you got to build your way up to that, because now we're down here, we're having shows competing with each other on the same weekends within, 45 minutes. What's up, Josh? Within 45 to an hour from each other. And, that's not a huge trek. And, I've gone to 2 different shows in one day here. It can be done. So it's just, and you're right. It's between a rock and a hard place for them. And I agree. You got to get it. You got to pay for the venue somehow. But I think we have one promoter down here. He's all about making as much money as he can possibly get. He'll shoehorn every table and chair he can into the building. Who cares if you don't have anywhere to walk? So, but then he's an asshole. That's Tidewater Promotions out of Virginia. But that is. But see, now I know that promoter. I tend to stay away from that one as much as I can. Y'all have anything else? I think we for somebody who didn't have much planned, I think we had a lot to talk about tonight.
Well, Scott, I have that problem every Friday. I got nothing to talk about. That's why I have to end the show so short. Like I run out of topics after 4 hours. Like it's horrible.
Yeah. You did have this past, I had it on in the background while doing stuff while I fell asleep, but it was entertaining, of course, as always.
We always make stuff up, Scott. Like most of the time, there's no plan. Sometimes there'll be something in there, but the truth, look, we spent an hour. If somebody tunes in and checks the latter portion, there was an hour where we spent time talking about Nicolas Cage movies, and we were trying to figure out what fast food joints Eric had actually eaten at, because he likes to tell us he's eaten at nothing.
Right.
Basically, I think he scavenged for food on the ground as a child, and that's what happened. Which explains a lot, honestly. It explains a lot.
Yeah, we will have a show coming up soon on food at places to eat in Chicago this time. So look out for that one. We'll have Ed on for that, of course. We got to get him to make some time for us and talk about food. And I don't know. I know Victor is from the area, but I don't know if somebody else from that area can hop on and tell us more other than Big Chicken and Pequot's.
I was going to say, yeah, he's just going to say Big Chicken a lot.
Oh, we're going to Big Chicken. That's already Tuesday, Big Chicken.
I figured that. Okay, so here, I'll throw this one at you. We can spend a couple of minutes on it before you wind off. Obviously, the running joke, you start at the beginning with the running joke with the thumbnail and everything. The various modes of transportation to National. Do you think, though, that maybe because now you've got the Road to the National thing you're making fun of, all the other ones but now I've literally seen like 4 or 5 more roads to the National.
I haven't. I've seen 2 others.
I've literally seen like 4. I've literally seen like a bunch of others that came up on my feed, and I was literally sitting there like, y'all, nobody has another idea. This is the only one. Fine, if that's what you want to do. Here's the thing: with all the comparison between the Fanatics Fest and then the National and everything, I repeat, they're 2 different types of shows, 2 different demographics, 2 different styles, 2 completely different things.
I don't even call that other one a card show. It's part of
It has
Fanatics.
200 dealers on it, Scott. They sell cards. It's a card show. It's a
But
fest
also
with a
has-
card show inside. It's
Right.
literally inside of it. Yeah, it's a fest with a card show in it. It's the
Right.
same thing as
There you
it's the
go.
same thing as when they do the All-Star game. They literally will have a fest, and then they'll stick some dealers in the middle of it. It's the same thing.
Right.
But my question is though, like, I
How
actually
many
think a
how
little
many
bit,
TCG dealers do they have exclusive there?
Ooh, let me tell you.
I'm curious on that.
I think they actually did okay. Like from the vlogs and stuff I was watching, I think they actually did all right in terms of keeping a balance between it because they're trying to promote the Fnatic stuff. It's not like they have no TCG, but like Fnatic doesn't have the same inroad in TCG as everything else. So they really want what was very over indexed was WWE cards because they've got the license and they've got all the rest. So like logically, if you've got the excitement from the people with the put WWE cards in the
And
showcase, you'll
they
make some
sell
money.
the T-shirts. They sell
Yes.
all the apparel.
Yes.
That
It
was
made
the
total sense.
main attraction. It seemed like of that whole event was retired athletes, some basketball players, and half of WWE was there.
Yeah. And they sold out a lot of those. I watched one vlog where somebody got an Alexa Bliss autograph. So they actually did in the vlog, they actually showed themselves getting in line, doing that. Then they cut to the part where they finally got up to it. The thing is, I think it was like $170 to get an autograph or whatever it was. It was not cheap. They recorded the entire transaction, which was they had been in line, big long line, lots of people were in it. Her stuff was sold out. They went there. They quickly said hello, had a quick brief chat. Couldn't have been more than 25 seconds. Alexa
Right.
Bliss signed their Money in the Bank briefcase, the little briefcase that they brought with it. Said hello. She was very pleasant and everything. It was less than a 30-second transaction, and the cash registers went off for $170. Next person in line. Next person in line. Next person in line. I'm like, how much money did you generate in a couple hours at $170 a pop?
Well, see, they pay. Well, I know at the big shows, the other big shows, they pay those performers up front. The money goes to the person running the the show gets the ticket sales. So
No, the thing is with them
Yeah.
is because Fanatics is in leagues with WWE, they've already made all the arrangements with it. They'll be like, we'll give you these talents, we'll give you this person, this person, this person. So
Right.
I'm sure they get paid something for it. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about how much money the Fanatics collect at $170 a pop.
And
Literally
they-
every single one of those people in line, all the way down that line,
And
30-second transaction next.
it is not like they had like NXT performers or the blackout performers. They had John Cena, Charlotte, Bliss, Uso. I mean,
Yep.
Gee, I was like, every top tier performer, belt holder,
Yep.
was at this. That's what I'm saying. Fanatics. This was. They didn't care about losing money because this was them making money for the future.
Yeah. And we're not even counting if you put in an inscription. That's $170 for just the autograph. Then you can pay more if you want an inscription. And if you get the photo op, that's more.
Right.
Which is also separate. So some people got the photo op, the autograph, and an inscription, and you pay 3 times. So it's like, no, and they sold that out. And that line was long. When they were showing, the reason I say the vlog was showing them getting in line, that was actually a fairly long line. All those people paid already. They had already paid.
I am not, Brad. I am not going. I'm not paying $70 a ticket to get into that, and then I'm not what I want to do, and then I'm hearing like the kids lining up to do the entrance of their favorite wrestler, and all these influencers are cutting in line dressed up as the wrestlers. Yeah, I would have smacked the shit out of somebody. So, because everybody's just more important. I would have liked, to me, it's a card show. It's a card show. And I'm not, all the other stuff. I mean, it would have cool to see the wrestlers. And I'm not a basketball fan. It seemed like a lot of basketball. Baseball's playing, so they won't going to be there. I didn't even see any retired baseball players.
They had a couple guys from the Mets.
They had that. Play now for the Mets?
I got to double
retired?
check, but I saw some Mets on there. Let me
Okay.
double check.
I know they had Brady out there a lot
Oh,
doing
for sure.
stuff.
Yeah.
He was with
He's
Kevin
also got a card
Hart.
shop booth now. So
Oh, does
he's
he?
got he's double dipping. He's doing part of that card shop that he's got the ownership stake in. So
Oh.
he's promoting that, brought a bunch of Super Bowl stuff, and then is also doing panels. He did the thing with Kevin Hart.
Kevin
he did
Hart,
that interview
the
thing,
dunk,
panels,
yeah.
all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
He was
Andy
every.
won. He won that competition. He won $1 million.
Oh yes, that's right. He did the Fanatics games. He won the Fanatics games.
Oh, I didn't know nothing about that. But I mean, if that's for you, I can see the appeal to it. For me, just the price alone to get in for one day that's ridiculous. And it's also you can't be poor like me and get a hotel in that area. It's just not feasible and eat and do things. I think you have to pay to breathe the air in that area of New York. So it's not for me. If I'm going to New York, I'm going to Citi Field. I'm going to watch baseball. I am going to go do something that I really enjoy for that amount of money and see all the players I want to see. I would be. We have Wrestling Fest here if I want to see wrestlers, we have a Wrestling Fest Thanksgiving weekend every year here in Winston-Salem. It's 3 days of wrestling, just of independents and some other, and usually there's some bigger names, and every retired wrestler's there signing, and a lot of I don't think there's any like WWE contracted people, but it'll be a lot of like AEW, MLW, the bigger other ROH talent there, TNA. So there is named people there. I should have went last year.
Yeah, it looks like the active players were all for the Yankees, because I see Cody Bellinger, Paul Goldschmidt.
Because it's not far from Yankee Stadium, I don't think.
Yeah, so they were able to get a couple of current Yankee guys and legends as well. Like Tino Martinez is there as well, so they got him. They got Wade Boggs. You got to have Wade Boggs.
I know, like at the National, there is quite a few Cubs are going to be there signing one day, Thursday, I think. None of them are cheap, but there's a bunch of them going to be there.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. And I'm upset because they don't have wrestlers from what I could see this year at the National.
Yeah, Scott, listen, even the CSC show, like the local Mississauga small show, can get Santino Morella. What the fuck are you guys doing? What are y'all doing over there?
In the National, it ain't me. They usually have Hogan, but Hogan, nobody wants to see Hogan.
I don't think anybody needs Hogan. Hogan can stay home.
And Flair, he's kind of outlived his, woos. Yeah, they got a good lineup though for overall, but it's disappointing that some parts of the people that sign and things going on, you would think there'd be more there. I mean, I'm sorry, WNBA has they got a game right before that they're playing. The Fever in town and Sunday, and then they got Valkyries there on Friday, and they have no players from the WNBA, current players at this thing. I think they're really missing an opportunity with that. They got a couple of retired players, but that's it. That's all I'm going to have tonight. We're going to end with that. I'm starting to wind down a little bit. I appreciate y'all choosing me to share this time with tonight. And please, when you go to games, be respectful to the players. No being an asshole and talk about somebody's passed away mother. Don't be an asshole. That's all I'm saying. So until next time.
Eric.
Yeah, Eric. Oh, I'm sorry. Like, share, tell a friend, and please subscribe if you haven't. And I will see you. See ya.